Okay, Sam. So we're back at it again.
Yeah.
You've been working on the blues, trying to get a little bit more comfortable with the harmonic progressions, and improvising a little bit more of it. You said you had some questions, so before we jump in too much, why don't you go ahead and
I was I was a little confused because the blues scale that the melody that I'm playing is based off of.
The pentatonic scale,
yeah.
I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it plays at B, when I have to start improvising, it switches to D7, and I was just confused. I just keep getting confused about that because it switches from like D F A to D F sharp A. You know what I mean?
Okay, so you're trying to reconcile the fact that the minor pentatonic scale that you're using
it's not used in the chord progression.
So that D, C natural, A, G, F natural that you're talking about doesn't seem to work. Well, first of all, so you're trying to reconcile those two things, I guess.
Because I remember someone told me once that like when you're improvising, you should like try to make it in the style of the melody, or like even incorporate like things similar to the melody. But that's kind of hard to do when it's in a different, it's on a different chord, I guess. You know what I mean?
Well, it is and it isn't. It is and it isn't. First of all, that blues scale, even though that, you're right, that F natural is not necessarily in that arpeggio, that like D, F sharp, A, C natural arpeggio. That F natural works because it's an altered sound, right? It's like a sharp, what would we call that? An F natural. If we were going to stack remember how we were stacking our chords a lot last week? And we're like, this note's the root, this note's the third, this note's the seventh. So what would we call an F natural, maybe, then? If we were going to extend our understanding of that chord up vertically, what would we call that?
It could be like a leading tone or something else.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, what's the ninth of a D7 chord? That's the ninth note?
E.
E. And if we sharp that 9, what note is that?
F.
F.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a sharp 9.
Yeah, it's a sharp 9 kind of sound. It creates some tension. And that's kind of the beauty of that blues scale, is that even if some of the notes maybe aren't like that one, are not exactly in that arpeggio or that chord, the nature of them played against that chord, against that harmony, creates a little bit of tension and creates a little bit of interest, okay? Moreover, think about it too. Yes, you have an F sharp here, but if you play an F natural here, does that F natural have a role in this chord?
Yeah.
What is it in the G7?
It's a 7.
It's a 7. So you can create a common tone between the two of them. That's another way it works. And in fact, if we play the melody, let's listen carefully and see where that F natural really comes up in the melody. Does it happen on the D7 chord or does it happen on the G7 chord? I want you to tell me.
Okay.
Or you can play and you can tell me how about that.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Good. So where did that F natural occur in the range of the harmony of these first 4 bars?
It was either going up to G or down to D.
Yeah, but where on what chord did that note happen when you played it in the melody?
G7.
G7. Yeah. Exactly right. Yeah. And so then here when you're playing those, it works here because again, because you're trying to create tension, you're creating that a common tone to the next sound.
Yeah.
So I see what you mean, and that's a good question to ask. But the reason why it works, again, is because of this idea of creating tension between dominant chords. We talked a lot last week about what 5 chords signify, right? Mm-hmm. And in all reality, in all of the blues, these 3 main chords that we're trying to work with here have these sort of relationships with one another. And we can choose to augment or highlight those relationships based on altering some of those sounds like you do with that note in the blues scale, or you can choose to make them more individual, more vertical. So that's a choice that's up to you as the improviser. But that's why those sounds are there, and that's why they work. And that's why it works in that melody too. Okay. Does that answer your question? It does, yeah. So it's about note choice, it's about what you want to use in the moment, and it's about how these chords can relate to one another if you want to, you know? Yeah. The other thing about the blues that's really useful is that we can show contrast between those tones. So as you said, that F sharp is there in that first chord. If I'm really wanting to sound like I know what I'm doing when I'm improvising between the first and the second chord, I can highlight that fact by playing an F sharp here and then an F natural here, like this.
F. 1, 2.
And I can keep it really simple.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So you see how I'm just playing. I mean, I'm playing really simple lines, but I'm using those 2 notes as kind of a touchstone when those things happen. Just augment. Okay, this guy knows the harmony is here, and he's using that F sharp and that F natural to play between those 2 notes to create contrast. Yeah. Because I played a lot of sequencing ideas that just change that one note. That sounds great. Yeah. You know what I mean? Does that kind of give you some more clarity? Mm-hmm. Sure. Cool. So what do you want to do? You want to try to play the melody and then improvise over it? You want to just jump in and see what happens?
Oh, okay.
All right. So well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll play the melody once together. Okay. Okay. And then you'll improvise first, and we'll go back and forth. Trade choruses. Okay.
Okay. So with the chords that we didn't talk about, like the F sharp, half diminished.
Sure.
What am I going to be?
Just be thinking about
playing there.
Think about D7 for all of this right now. Think about D7 for all of that right now.
And then A7 for all of this?
Yep. You can think about A7 for all of that.
Okay.
Again, that's a fairly generalist way of looking at it, but it's a good way to think about it in the beginning. Just as a way to think about it. Okay. You can also try and use that blues scale a lot just to get some mileage out of it. So, again, the most important thing at this point is just to jump in and see what happens. Okay. Again, and now that you have a generalist idea of it. Okay? So let's play the melody one time together, and then you can improvise.
Just one or
2.
One chorus piece.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Cool. Not bad. Let's do it once. Can we do it without the music?
Okay.
And can we think about it again? Because playing jazz and thinking about things like this are as much about using your ears and responding as they are about looking at something on a page.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is great. A great thing for you to do to practice just kind of letting go and seeing what happens.
It's not gonna go well.
But let's do it, and let's arpeggiate those chords like we did last week. You remember?
Yeah.
So, and again, we can think about it kind of in a generalist way for now. So we'll just do D7 over the first chord, G7, D7, D7, 2 bars of G7, 2 bars of D7, 2 bars of A7, 2 bars of D7. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Just try it.
We're playing the melody first, or
No melody, just improvise.
F. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3,
Cool. Let's.
Is there? Are we doing the B flat at the top of the A7?
Yeah. Okay. Try and settle into the pocket a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Okay, you started to rush ahead. So just listen. So we're coming up to the A7. Here we go. Here's the A sound. Not bad. Let's try and improvise again. You go first. But thinking about those arpeggios, okay? Keeping those in mind.
2, 3, 4.
Oh, I messed up.
It's okay. A. Now we're back to the top here.
Where are we?
We're coming back around. Here's a G7. G7. Right at the top again. When I stop, you can trust me. That's all right. Let's try it again. So what's the big thing? You have to. So again, you have to be able to internalize this without looking at it on a page to know where you are. So what's the thing that you feel like you're having trouble hearing or trouble noticing?
Hear where the chord changes.
Can't hear where the chord changes are. Okay, so let's do it once and let's just listen to the changes. And listen to two things. Listen to the bass, because the bass player is always going to play roots on the downbeats of bars. Okay, and then listen also really closely to the chords the piano player is playing. Okay, and just even at first, don't even worry so much about knowing where you are, but just make sure you can notice when it changes. Okay.
F. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
D7, that's the top. G7. Back to D7. G7. D7. Better?
Yeah.
All right. And when you're improvising, again, if you can think about those arpeggios or at least some of those leading tones, thinking about thirds and sevenths a lot, that's going to help you hear it better because you're going to be playing the changes a little more. All right. Let's try it one more time. You can go first.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Did you hear something I did, the chorus right before the one you just played? What did you notice about that particular
You
one?
repeated something over and over through the chord change.
I only played 3 notes the whole time. And I found different places where those notes were highlighted in the chords, and I accented them more. That's another strategy that you can use at this stage to try and help you get a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah.
Pick 3 or 4 notes and only play those notes to try and, again, hear what's going on better, hear how those notes work against the harmony, and to give you, sometimes if you can put kind of barriers on, or limitations on what you're allowing yourself to play, then you can actually be the more creative.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Stravinsky always used to say that the more limitations placed on me, the more creative I feel like I can be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So sometimes, especially when you're a young improviser, and especially one like you who has a lot of technique built up on the saxophone, knows how to play the whole instrument already, it's like, oh my gosh, I've got all these things I can do.
Yeah.
It's like, what do I do? And you're kind of lost. But then concurrently, if you say, no, like, yeah, I can do all those things, but I'm only going to do like these 4 notes, and I'm going to make the most out of those. That can be something to help you just kind of hone in on a lot of other things, like playing with a great sound, trying to play with good time. That way you're not trying to be distracted by note choices all the time, you know what I mean? That's another thing to do. Let's try it again. And remember in some of your first lessons when we did a lot of trading, so another thing we can do to help you get a little bit more comfortable with this form is we can trade back and forth here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do what we call trade 4s, which is a really common thing in jazz and improvising and soloing, and that the players will go back and forth and trade 4 measures of soloing. Either with other players or the drummer or things like that. So we're going to trade 4s, and that'll help you kind of hear where we are in each form. But you have to keep a close ear, because so like for instance, if you'll take the first 4 bars of soloing, and then I'll take the next 4, you're coming back in to solo again on what part of the form?
It'd be like the chord.
Yeah. What chord?
A.
Yeah, those that E to the A, or those 2 A's that we're thinking about. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to always be thinking about it that way. So then you'll take that one, and then I'll take the next one, and then you're soloing then again on what chord? You start on what chord?
G.
G. Exactly.
So
right.
wait, I goes D G D G G.
No, D G D D.
Oh, D G D D G G D D A D D, and then
back to the top.
beginning. Okay.
But then again, we're alternating. So this is a good thing for you to keep track of where you are.
Yeah.
And then it'll leave some space in between your solos. So
okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's try that one time, and then we will be out of here.
Cool.
So you're gonna go first, okay?
Okay.
F. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I think it's already better. I could tell you started to settle into it a little bit. What do you think it was about the fours that helped you?
Well, I think it was just playing it more.
Yeah.
And not trying to think as much.
Yeah.
As like listening instead of thinking.
Yeah.
A lot more.
Well, and trading those fours helps you to, again, you can hear a little bit better what's going on because you're leaving bars in between your solos. So, and then you can hear how somebody else is doing them. So, instead of instead of like playing, a whole chorus by yourself and you're trying to kind of like wade through all this stuff and figure, oh my gosh, where am I? This time, again, you have space to really think about, okay, so he's there, so I'm going to be here. And that way you kind of know where to start. So that's a good thing to do. So when you're practicing then, Sam, trade some fours, but with yourself. Yeah. So keep yourself honest and play for 4 bars and then stop playing for 4 bars. Come back in for 4 bars. You know what I mean? Yeah. Do something like that. That, again, will allow you some time to breathe, time to listen to the rhythm section, and time to kind of take stock of where you are so that you're going to be more comfortable with the soloing.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
The other thing we're going to do, and I'll hook you up with this later, is I'm going to leave you with an etude, a jazz etude, if you will. For you to, and it's gonna be a blues, just like this one in the same key.
Okay.
So you can listen, can play it, and work a little bit on trying to get a better sense of style.
Yeah.
A better sense of rhythm, and it can also give you some ideas to work on. Okay, and I'll hook you up with that later in the next couple days.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Sounds good.
All right, Sam. Good stuff.
Yeah. Thanks.